Hi folks, and welcome to episode 2 of Be Dangerous Again. We were really lucky and privileged. Our interview today was with Ian the Machine Freeman.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. He was Britain's first professional UFC fighter.
Yeah.
And over to you, Mark.
We were really lucky to get him. We got him thanks to the Granite Fight Factory, who had brought him up for a course. I'm involved with them because, as Stevie's often pointing out to me, I am an 8th dan in karate, and I'm lucky to travel all over the world. And what dan are you?
Desperate.
Yeah, we rehearsed that. Did it show? Because it looked fucking wooden. What dan are you? Desperate. So, it was a really good interview with him coming up. It's about 13 odd minutes. Really, honestly, watch it. You'll see him in a new light. He's absolutely brilliant, funny, educated guy, really good on the stuff.
And the last 2 or 3 minutes of the interview, it just had the hairs on the back of our necks standing on end. So motivational and inspirational, really.
And another real simple tip in there for you guys who are just thinking, do I want to do this, do I want to do that, I'm not certain. So he's brought in his own particular slant on it and came up with his his interview. So yeah, stay to the end and we'll have a watch for that. So amongst ourselves, I was away at Hockenheim for the Formula 1 for my 60th birthday. Thank you. Right, it was really good. However, there's something I've learned about this. The Titanic fallacy. When we were in there, it was brilliant. Everyone was doing Mexican waves, guys were passing out with drink, foreigners were getting in, taking pictures and all the rest of it. See, when the race finished, 100,000+ people crammed down 2 roads, trying to get on shuttle buses that took 40 at a time, and there were thousands waiting. The 1 train per hour that only took a couple of hundred on, right? And that's when you saw human beings at their worst. And that's when I realised that the Titanic was a lie, right? People saying women and children first. These people would have kicked crying babies into the freezing sea to get their seat on that boat. It was unbelievable how bad people were. Seriously. Nudging out the way, pushing their way in, and I just suddenly realised I lost all faith in humanity. That's it. That's all I can say. I've lost all faith in humanity. I've gumped with it.
Okay. Well, thanks again for watching, and if you like, subscribe.
Yeah, if you've lost faith in humanity, don't fucking bother.
Yeah, don't bother
with it at all. Up and coming is Ian Freeman, and we shall see you next week.
Okay, cheers. Thanks a lot for watching.
Okay,
bye.
Cheers. Bye. Yes, hi. Welcome back to Be Dangerous Again. We are amazed and really delighted that Ian Freeman is with us today for a short interview discussing the ageing process. And as you can see, he's a very doer, straight-faced man. So, Stevie, have any questions?
Yeah, we're doing, like I said, this for over 50s, 60s, 70s, and you must be in the 0.001% of guys 50 and over that still train extremely hard and extremely serious. What motivates you to keep going when most guys just give up?
Do you want to know what the real truth is? What motivates me? I don't want to get old. I do not want to get old, and that's always at the back of my mind. I know nobody wants to get old, but I say to myself, as soon as I stop, I'm just going to go downhill, and that's going to be it. So I don't want to stop. I keep moving, and it is harder for us guys, but I think as soon as I stop, that's when age is going to creep up on me. Yeah. People say, well, age is just a number, you know, and it kind of annoys me a little bit, you know, when people say age is just a number. How many 51-year-olds are doing what I'm doing?
Yeah,
not many. You know, so it's not just a number, you've got to have it there as well, you've got to want to do it. You know, a lot of older people, they kind of give up in the mind before they give up in the body.
And that's part of the reason that we decided to try and get this podcast up and running, because we were bumping into people, and I'm not joking, like in the early 40s, looking how guys in the 50s used to look back in the 70s. Do you know what I mean? Because in the 70s, my fear is the same as yourself, is of growing old, but it's growing old like my descendants used to grow old. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like, you know, my uncle would be like 45 coming in from work and looking like a broken man. He's like, he's just sitting there. And nowadays, as we were discussing this before, there's no reason to be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly when you have like motivational people out there, which is what we're trying to gather together, you know, get motivational people to come in and just say like, no, you can do this and you can do this. But everyone is saying it's about mindset.
Oh, without a doubt. I believe in that so much. That's what helped me through my career. That's what keeps me going now. As soon as my mind goes, my body will go. my mind will not go first. I know that. You know, I think I'll be 100-year-old and still trying to grapple on with the guys on the floor, but you know, I'll not be as good. But I don't think my mind. I've got a really strong mindset, and that's what keeps me going.
I'm still Stixie, and I don't do any of the percussive stuff anymore. You know, I don't do any of the hits and the punches so much. You know, I take a whack across the knee, and it takes longer to heal than it did, you know, before that. You know, so nowadays I just tend to stick to the grappling, and I find that, and not only that, I find grappling is a really good all-over.
Oh, without a doubt,
you
isn't
know,
it?
when you're kind of trying to.
No, I do. If I do 10 3-minute rounds of kickboxing and I do 10 3-minute rounds of grappling, the grappling's so hard.
Yeah.
So much hard, fitness-wise as well. It's, yeah, I do appreciate that.
Do you find you have to watch your diet a little bit more now as well?
You know, my wife and daughter laugh at me, you know, especially my daughter, because she's a professional fighter now. And I've had interviews in the past and they says, oh, do you help your daughter with her nutrition? I'm like, no, it's my wife. My wife's the nutritionist, she's the one who helps. But back in the day when I was fighting in the UFC as a heavyweight, you know, nutrition wasn't the main thing then. It was mindset and training hard. You know, I remember once, before I fought in Las Vegas, I was in McDonald's 2 days before I went to fight.
What's the bodybuilder face?
Yeah. You know, but then obviously as the sport's evolved, the nutrition has evolved and there's more knowledge out there about nutrition, and I kind of think if I knew then what I know now, I'd be in better shape, you know. But no, for me, kind of, if you put this into context, you know, a kind of a healthy meal for me is chicken Kiev. It's chicken with a little bit of garlic sauce inside it, you know. And, but instead of having a plate of chips, you know, or something like that, or you know. But so I keep healthy, but not strict. It is a little bit on the cheat side, but not dirty.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the points we've been trying to get across to people. If you can control your diet, when we interviewed Graham, he said that right at the top for everything he did with his bodybuilding, it was his diet. He sorted it. Did it not take 3 years, he said, to actually get his diet sorted out for his first?
It was 3 years. He decided that he was going to win the Mr. Universe, and he started 3 years out devising his plan, devising everything step by step. You know, won the Scottish, won the UK, then won the Mr.
But
Universe.
I can appreciate that from the bodybuilding point of view, but even now I know a heavyweight, and I'm speaking of heavyweights here, because they don't have to watch their weight. I know a heavyweight world champions proud to wear the belt in big organisations, and their diet is still just eating what they want.
Okay.
It's because the mindset's right, the training's right. Obviously, don't get me wrong, there's people out there going, yeah, but your diet's got to be right. Sure it does. They would be even better if their diet was right. Yeah. So as a heavyweight fighter, diet is not at the top of the list, it's kind of halfway down. Whereas bodybuilding, diet and your training has got to be kind of at the top of the list to look in such good shape. You know, so it's two sports, two different diets,
sure.
you know, yeah.
And do you have a couple of older role models you look at that maybe come to your gym, or people that you've seen around and you think, wow, you know, they're still doing great things, they still look great?
Do you know what? No. No.
We're fighters, we're either punch drunk or dead.
The guys who were doing it when I was in my prime, they're all, yeah, they're you know, without going into names, you know, I actually got contacted from an organisation that wanted to do the comeback for older fighters, and I thought, oh great, it's another chance to come back, because I still train hard. I train every day apart from weekends, but I train 5 days a week. I still do fitness, I still do kickboxing, I still do grappling. And so this was an opportunity to get back on the scene, but just as a one-off, you know, I'm still here, I can still do it. You know, I'm not as old as you guys think I am. And then I was putting names forward to this organisation. They're going, hip replacement, dodgy leg, never been in the gym for over 5 years. And I was thinking, wow, they're all gone, they're all done, they're all finished.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
I would have loved to see you fight Ken Shamrock.
Oh, do you know how many times that fight?
Did you ever see that fight where he had a heart attack in the ring? I'm not on steroids. He's actually been. He actually had a heart attack in the ring.
3 times that guy signed the contract to fight me, and 3 times he pulled out. It's like crazy. Once in the UFC, once in the IFL, and once for cage rage. And it's just sorry, not cage rage. Doncaster, when I fought Rico Rodriguez, the replacement was Rico Rodriguez instead of Ken Shamrock. And at the time I thought, oh, am I doing the right thing? Rico Rodriguez, former UFC heavyweight champion, still active, still good. You know, I've had 5 years out of the cage. Can I still do it? And I thought, oh, the hell with it. I've been training. And obviously I went in there and I beat Rico in the first round, under 3 minutes. So, I was happy. It was a good finish for me. That was my last fight. First fight I ever had was at the age of 32, which I started late. And my last fight was at the age of 46.
It's a good career though, particularly because a lot of people tend to forget, because when you're speaking to them, you know, you have your injuries you pick up when you say kickboxing or Muay Thai boxing. Then you have a completely different subset of injuries you pick up when you're grappling, your shoulder, your neck, your lower back, you know, and this. But then when you combine them together, right, it's a whole subset of injuries.
We're clinically dead, really. You know, you get a cyclist coming along going, how are you still moving?
I mean, the amount of tape I put on myself before I spar now, you know, for a pleasurable spar with some friends. I look like the Bionic Man, I'm taping this, or I'm putting a pad on here, putting a knee pad on to protect myself.
Yeah, Mark was 60 just the other month, so what he did, tell him about your spar, with the 60 minutes.
Oh yeah, I did 6 10-minute rounds of knockdown sparring. You know, with the gloves on and just, I don't know if you know, like Kyokushin sparring, it's like leg kicks and body punch.
Cool. Yeah.
So what I did was I did to prove to myself I wasn't aging, I did 60 minutes, 6 10-minute rounds with a young lad who's like a really good fighter, and he's also good in the fact that he won't, you know, he'll work hard not to injure you. You know.
Yeah.
Kind of regretted it at the end, like.
No,
but that was my version. That's what I did for 60. I just stood there and I did 6 10.
And that's the mindset again, isn't it?
It is, and again, this is one of the things we're trying to put across to people. You know, if you think yourself weak, you'll be weak.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly.
If you think you can't do it, you won't do it.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens to most people when they get old or older. They tell themselves they're old. They don't go to the gym as often. And before you know it, they're not going to the gym at all. And then give them 6 months. And everything's just gone downhill.
Absolutely right.
That's it. They're finished.
Yeah, and it's always this tomorrow mindset. I see with a lot of older people. So, okay, this weekend, I'm going to finish my fags up this weekend, I'm going to finish my drinking, I'll eat whatever I want. Come Monday morning, it's a fresh start. Instead of just saying, no, I'm actually going to do it now.
Now.
Yeah.
This instant. I had a friend once who'd been smoking for many years, and one of the things that really impressed me, he says, I'm going to give up smoking. And he'd never said that before, and I was used to the other kind of friends that did all this kind of stuff. And he had about, 16, 17 cigarettes left in it. Right? He just squeezed the pack out and he threw it in the bin. He said, that's it. And that was it. He never smoked again. And I always remember just thinking, that is just amazing. I know how bad nicotine is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a strong drug.
And that's how I think people should be. And I think that's exactly how...
And it's the same when people go, I need to get fit first.
Yes!
Why do you think you go to the gym?
yeah. We both had that one. We both had
What is that about?
Yeah.
I'm going to start the gym. Yeah, when I get fit. Well, if you come to the gym, you'll get fit. No, but I need to be fit before I start.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And how many times do you meet old students on the streets that say that? Particularly as they age. And the problem is when you're in your environment, you tend to be amongst a younger mindset as well, which is inspiring in itself, which is why Graham said the last thing, get a younger training partner, or motivate you, it'll keep you younger. And sometimes what happens is that older men, and this program is designed specifically for older men, will clique into the older groups and then reinforce negative behaviour. You know what I mean? Sit and get a pint, you'll be fine. You did all that in your youth. You don't need to do
why do you need to do it now?
Why do you need to do it now? As opposed to saying you can be so much more than you can be.
And that is the mindset, because it's like, you've done it. Time to relax, enjoy life.
Yeah.
Sure, you're going to enjoy life. You're going to enjoy sitting down watching TV, watching Judge Judy, you know, and life is going to be a lot more relaxing and a lot more enjoyable if that's what you want. But you are going to get old quick.
Very
quick.
Yeah.
So, you know, which side of life do you want? Wake up with a few aches and pains and still be young for the rest of your life? Or wake up, you know, all the ailments start to call back, all the, you know, your lung problems because you're not exercising, all the mental problems, and
That's perfect advice. So if you had one bit of advice in closing this interview, if you had one bit of advice, and don't say don't die or get punched drunk. If you little bit of advice to hand on to somebody now, because we're trying to collate a little bits of advice from everybody. Like Graham last week said, get a younger training partner, and his advice was do power cleans. He said it's a very simple exercise. You don't need much for it. You can use bricks almost for it or something like that. What would you say for it?
If I had to give one piece of advice, it wouldn't be go to the gym, it wouldn't be use this kind of exercise, it wouldn't be use this kind of equipment, it wouldn't be get a younger training partner, it would be get some form of video, DVD for your mindset.
Okay.
The mind is stronger than the body. The mind will make you do everything. It doesn't matter how much you can lift, or how much you can't lift, how good your knees are, how long you can run, how short you can run. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So every day when I get up, I tell myself, Jim, you need to get there tonight. Spar tonight, you're going to spar with the young guys. You're going to. I tell myself every day. I don't sit there and say, oh, you're going to do it. But in my mind, it's going, right, get yourself ready. It's sparring tonight. You're going to go ahead. You're going to spar with the youngs. And without sounding big-headed, I'm still overpowering and beating my students. Mm-hmm. And that's because of my strong mindset. If I was to say, oh, I'm going to spar today, it doesn't matter if I get beat up or whatever, the students beat me, then eventually they'll start to beat me up and I'll just get older and I'll be like, no, I keep strong. And so if anything, I believe the mind is the most important thing ever. Before, obviously my biggest fight of my career, and I think the whole MMA world know about this fight, is my fight with Frank Mir. Now Frank Mir at the time was the golden boy of the UFC, never been beat. Dana White said he will never be beat, he's just way too good. Sure. We're coming to England for the first time, we want to give him Ian Freeman, Britain's #1, we'll embarrass Ian Freeman to show that the Americans are the best. Before I went out to that fight, I lay in my dressing room and I had a little Walkman. For those who don't know what a Walkman is, it's a cassette tape. Right?
Orange earphones.
Yes. And I had my little headphones on and I said to my wife and my cornerman, I went, no one disturbs me for 30 minutes. And what this tape was, it was achieving your goals. That's what it was called. It was a self-hypnotic cassette tape. Basically, you lay down and it was telling me to relax, and then it was talking about all the accolades that I'd won, and you know, you're walking through this field and it's a beautiful day, and when you get to the end of the field, you see this big, huge trophy cabinet. All those trophies that you want to win, that you're going to win, are in and it gives you a boost. So after 30 minutes, you know, on the count of 3, your eyes are going to open, you're going to feel wide awake. When you open up, you're going to feel energized and ready. Boom, boom, on the count of 1, open your eyes, and I was like, I'm going to kill him. I felt so good, and everybody could tell you that fight, he didn't last 5 minutes. I smashed him. Biggest fight of my career, and all because of my mindset. You have to have the skill, yes. But if I went in there going, Frank Mir, UFC poster boy, they brought him over to beat me up, I would have getting beat. Yeah. The mind is the strongest part of your body, use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your
That's great advice. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
I'm going to turn it off if you want to black dance on that.